let us discuss about the utilization of water. Water resources are sources of water that are useful or potentially useful to humans. Uses of water include agricultural, industrial, household, recreation and environmental activities. Virtually all of these human uses require fresh water. 97% of the water on the earth is salt water, leaving only 3% as fresh water, of which slightly over 2/3 is frozen in glaciers and polar ice caps. The remaining unfrozen fresh water is mainly found as groundwater, with only a small fraction present above ground or in the air. Fresh water is a renewable resource, yet the world's supply of clean fresh water is steadily decreasing. Water demand already exceeds supply in many parts of the world, and as the world population continues to rise, so too does the water demand. Awareness of the global importance of preserving water for ecosystem services has only recently emerged, as during the 20th century, more than half the world's wetlands have been lost along with their valuable environmental services. Biodiversity rich freshwater ecosystems are currently declining faster than the marine or land ecosystems. The framework for allocating water resources to water users, where such a framework exists, is known as water rights. Uses of fresh water can be categorized as consumptive and non-consumptive, sometimes called renewable. A use of water is consumptive if that water is not immediately available for another use. Losses to subsurface seepage and evaporation are considered consumptive, as is water incorporated into a product such as farm produce. Water that can be treated and returned as surface water, such as sewage, is generally considered non-consumptive if that water can be put to additional use. Water resources are used in various ways, including direct consumption, agricultural irrigation, fisheries, hydropower, industrial production, recreation, navigation, environmental protection, the disposal and treatment of sewage and industrial effluents. Water has sources and supplies, economic, social and political characteristics which make it a unique and challenging natural resource to manage. The uses of water. Agricultural use. It is estimated that 69% of worldwide water use is for irrigation, with 15 to 35% of irrigation withdrawals being unsustainable. In some areas of the world, irrigation is necessary to grow any crop at all. In other areas, it permits more profitable crops to be grown or enhance crop yield. Various irrigation methods involve different trade-offs between crop yield, water consumption and capital cost of equipment and structures. Irrigation methods such as furrow and overhead sprinkler irrigation are usually less expensive, but are also typically less efficient because much of the water evaporates, runoff or drains below the root zone. Other irrigation methods considered to be more efficient include drip or trickle irrigation, surge irrigation and some types of sprinkler systems where the sprinklers are operated near ground level. These types of systems, while more expensive, usually offer greater potential to minimize runoff, drainage and evaporation. Apiculture is a small but growing agricultural use of water. Freshwater commercial fisheries may also be considered as agricultural use of water, but have generally been assigned a lower priority than irrigation. As global population grow and as demand for food increases in a world with a fixed water supply, there are efforts underway to learn how to produce more food with less water through improvements in irrigation methods and technologies. Agricultural water management, crop types and water monitoring is essential to save and conserve water. Now, industrial use of water. It is estimated that 22% of worldwide water use is industrial. Major industrial users include power plants which use water for cooling or as a power sources, that is hydroelectric plants, ore and oil refineries which use water in chemical process, and manufacturing plants which use water as a solvent. The portion of industrial water usage that is consumptive varies widely, but as a whole is lower than agricultural use. Water is used in power generation. Hydroelectricity is an electricity obtained from hydropower. Hydroelectric power comes from water driving a water turbine connected to a generator. Hydroelectricity is a low cost, non-polluting renewable energy source. Water is also used in many industrial processes and machines such as steam turbine and heat exchanger, in addition to its use as a chemical solvent. Industry requires pure water for many applications and utilizes a variety of purification techniques both in water supply and discharge. In household, drinking water is used. It is estimated that 8% of worldwide water is used for household purpose. This includes drinking water, bathing, cooking, sanitation and gardening. Because household water requirements have been estimated by Peter Gallick at around 50 liters per person per day, excluding water for gardens. Drinking water is water that is of sufficiently high quality so that it can be consumed or used without risk of immediate or long-term harm. Such water is commonly called potable water. In most developed countries, the water supplied to household, commerce and industry is all of drinking water standard, even though only a very small portion is actually consumed or used in food preparation. Food processing requires water. Water plays many critical roles within the field of food science. It is important for a food scientist to understand the roles that water plays within food processing to ensure the success of their products. Recreation. Recreational water use is usually a very small but growing percentage of total water use. Recreational water use is mostly tied to reservoirs. If a reservoir is kept fuller than it would be otherwise be for recreation, then the water retained could be categorized as recreational usage. Release of water from a few reservoirs is also timed to enhance whitewater boating, which also could be considered a recreational use. Other examples are water skiers, nature enthusiasts and swimmers. Recreational usage is usually non-consumptive. Golf courses are often targeted as using excessive amounts of water, especially in drier regions. Aquatic life forms. Earth's water are filled with life. The earliest life forms appeared in water Nearly all fish live exclusively in water, and there are many types of marine mammals such as dolphins and whales that also live in water. Some kinds of animals such as amphibians spend portion of their lives in water and portion on land. Plants such as algae grow in the water and are the basis for some underwater ecosystem. Aquatic animals must obtain oxygen to survive, and they do so in various ways. Chemical uses. Water is widely used in chemical reactions as a solvent or reactant and less commonly as a solute or catalyst. As a heat transfer fluid, water and steam are used as heat transfer fluids in diverse heat exchange system. Due to its availability and high heat capacity, both as a coolant and for heating. Condensing steam is a particularly efficient heating fluid because of the large heat of vaporization. A disadvantage is that water and steam somewhat corrosive. In almost all electric power stations, water is the coolant which vaporizes and drives steam to turbines to drive generators. In the nuclear industry, water can also be used as a neutron moderator. The entire episode highlights the importance of water, which is essential to entire biosphere. Water use has grown rapidly in modern times. The first 80 years of the 20th century saw a 200% increase in the world's average per capita water use, which accounted for a remarkable 566% increase in withdrawal from the world's freshwater resources. In addition, a significant portion of water resources have become unusable due to industrial and agricultural pollution. Water resources refer to the supply of groundwater and surface water in a given area. Water resources may also reference the current or potential value of the resources to the community and the environment. The maximum rate that water is potentially available for human use and management is often considered the best measure of the total water resources of a given region.